Witnesses say as many as 30 federal officers swarmed this flea market, taking multiple people into custody, some of them trying to run away while leaving fear and uncertainty with the vendors left behind. As immigration officers descended on the Swaparama flea market, many customers and vendors immediately took off from the lot near 41st and Ashland.
It was a disaster,
while others were taken into custody.
If anyone was running, that's who they grabbed. I saw one lady just looked just fainted, I guess, or just shocked that she was by me.
Not far from this Thursday morning operation,
leave him alone,
was a clash between federal agents and demonstrators at 47th and Western. Video showing multiple immigration officers wrestling a man to the ground. One person appeared to be detained. The crowd then growing as federal vehicles drove off.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you all for joining me today. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel, and most importantly, please make sure that you are following me on Telegram at TD Media Group to help circumvent social media censorship and shadow banning. And with the introduction out of the way, let's get into today's news. And today we are headed back to where we all know where, the People's Republic of Chicago. Why is that? Because the foolishness and the madness continues. But before we get into the foolishness, before we get into the madness and a little bit of justice as well, what I want to do first is this, man. I just want to tip my hat to ICE for doing a phenomenal job out there, not just in Chicago, but across the country. And just tip my hat to President Trump for fulfilling his campaign promise year one. We are on par to have the highest year of deportations in American history. Yep, he's getting ready to shatter the record. He's getting ready to completely obliterate the record as it pertains to deportations. Check this out here. Phenomenal work is being done. Trump administration on pace to shatter deportation record by the end of the first year. Just the beginning. Look at this. With over 500,000 illegal aliens deported since President Trump took office in January, the administration is on track to significantly exceed the record number of illegals deported out of the United States. Since Trump's return to the Oval Office on January 20th, the administration has deported over 515,000 illegal aliens, according to a high-ranking official at the Department of Homeland Security. DHS Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin told Fox News Digital the administration is on pace to shatter historic records by deporting 600,000 illegals by the end of Trump's first year back in office. She said that in total, more than 2 million illegal aliens have left the U.S., including 1.6 million who voluntarily self-deported, as well as over 515,000 deportations. We're looking at 2 million in between those who were forcefully deported and those who self-deported. We are looking at 2 million illegal immigrants who have been removed from the country. And the significance of that 515,000, where we're at right now, which should be 600,000 by the end of the year, the significance in that is that I want to say about 99.9% of those deportations are interior deportations. And that's why it's significant. If you look at Biden's last year in office, where all of a sudden he had this extraordinarily high number of deportations because, you know, he was running for re-election, then he passed the baton to Kamala Harris to do it for him. I forgot what the actual number is, but I think it was somewhere around like, I could have been like 500,000 if I remember correctly. It was some number that was relatively high, relatively high. But what people don't understand is that the overwhelming majority of those deportations were not interior deportations. They were those who were bounced back into Mexico immediately at the border, because that counts for deportation as well, right? There's interior deportations, and I forget what the technical name is, but we'll just call them bounce back deportations for lack of better terms. We're at the border, we catch you, and then we immediately turn you around. In the case of Biden, the majority of his deportations were those that occurred immediately at the border. So that doesn't really mean anything. But when you're talking about 500,000 illegal immigrants being deported, and they were all from the interior, that speaks volumes on top of the 1.6 million who said, hey man, let me get that $1,000 stipend. I'm just going to head out on my own. You don't have to arrest me. Just let me get that free plane ticket home. I'll take it. Oh yeah. A lot of work is being done and a lot of people are being removed from the country. But we can never forget how we got to this point. Look at this here. Let me pull up this tweet, old tweet from Bill Malugin. Check this out. Now look at this here. This is from September 18th, 2021. Breaking. I am absolutely stunned by what I'm witnessing right now. We are on a boat in the Rio Grande near the Del Rio International Bridge. And we are watching as masses of hundreds of migrants walk across the river from Mexico and stream into the US illegally. Let's take a moment to go down memory lane and watch this horrific moment in American history that continued for 4 years. Lord have mercy.
All right, guys, what you're looking at right now is the U.S. side of the Rio Grande. That is a mass of several hundred illegal immigrants who have just crossed the Rio Grande. And look at this, several hundred more streaming across as we speak. We're on a boat in the Rio Grande. This is the Mexican side of the river right now. You can see it's a never-ending stream. Hundreds of people crossing the Rio Grande basically every hour. And they're heading over to the International Bridge, which you can see in the background. Look at that mass of people. This is why the situation under the bridge continues to deteriorate. This is insane. The federal government has to wake up.
Oh, you're right. Ladies and gentlemen, this is unforgivable. This is unforgivable. This is something that should never, ever be forgotten. I don't ever in life want to see another Democrat in office, ever in life, because the moment they get back in, this is the hell that they are going to unleash upon the population again. That's what they're going to do again. And this is the same thing that my man Stephen Miller was saying when he, quote, retweeted this old tweet from Bill Malugin that had this video. Stephen Miller stated, never forget what they did to us and what they will do to us again if given a chance. AOC and Jasmine Crockett, the Zorhan Mamdanis of the world, all of the insane DNC lunatics, they can't wait to get back into office, to open Hell's Gate and unleash this upon us again. And yes, I am calling it Hell's Gate and unleashing this great evil upon us, because look at the number of people that have died, that have lost their lives, murdered, violated, women and children violated. What I mean by violated is RAPE if you're new to the channel. People that have been assaulted, had belongings stolen, taken, theft, attempted murder by those who came in through Hell's Gate that was opened up by the Democrat Party. And that's the same party that dismisses all this. They don't cover any of that stuff like how we cover it over here. They pretend like none of it is happening. And if you do speak on it, somehow that's being xenophobic or racist or something stupid of that nature, by just simply telling the truth of the hell that they unleashed under the population. The moment these people get back in office, they're going to do that again. They're going to do it again. And just like Biden and Harris, they lied over and over and over again. Alejandro Mayorkas, if I remember his name, Alejandro Mayorkas, he lied under oath in front of Congress multiple times, saying that there is no issue. The border is under control. How is this being under control? Mayorkas needs to be in jail too. That's somebody else who needs to be arrested and brought up on charges for lying under oath multiple times. This is unforgivable. This is unforgivable. And they will do it again if they get back into office. And now what we're dealing with is not just the hell they unleashed onto the population, but we have to deal with the lunatics that are defending this kind of nonsense and who will love to see this happen again. I'm not talking about DNC politicians, but I'm talking about their insane constituents. Look at this video here. I want to play this for you. because this just goes to show what ICE is dealing with on a regular basis. Look at this. This is the danger that DHS faces on an hourly basis. A woman decided to speed down a street and intentionally swerve toward ICE agents. She acted like a victim once they made it clear they will defend themselves. Vehicles are deadly weapons. National Guard now. Look at this video here. This is just completely absurd.
Stop.
I don't give a f. You're gonna shoot a pregnant woman? Yeah, you're gonna shoot a pregnant woman? Yeah?
Stop.
No,
please.
he just f***ing put a gun on me.
If you've been subscribed to this channel long enough, you know part of what I'm going to say right now. There is nothing on earth. There is nothing on earth that I despise more than women who act like this because they believe that nothing's going to happen to them because they're a woman. I hate this with such a deep passion. I promise you I do with every fiber of my being. I despise whenever I see these little protests or ICE, riots, whatever you want to call them. You'll have these women show up with their child in hand, acting a fool, instigating violence, and then once consequences follow, now all of a sudden, oh my God, my baby, my baby, my baby, my baby. Why did you show up with your child? The child should be taken from you. The child should be taken. Why would you show up to a protest that always gets violent with your child in hand and then act belligerent and want to get into a 12-round boxing match with an ICE agent? But when they respond accordingly, all of a sudden, oh my God, I'm a woman, I'm a woman, I'm a woman. Oh my God, my baby, my baby. And everybody in the area becomes victims. Oh, come on, man. She has a baby. She has a baby. Look at in this case right here. The moment that child is born should be taken away from this woman. She's pregnant. She's pregnant. Acting a fool, speeding down the street, intentionally swerving into ICE agents. And then when the ICE agents pulled his gun out, as he rightfully should have, because a vehicle is a deadly weapon, now all of a sudden you're playing victim and saying, oh, you're going to shoot a pregnant woman? You're going to shoot a pregnant woman? These people weaponize their children. They weaponize their pregnancy. They weaponize their gender because they believe nothing's going to happen. But then when something happens, now all of a sudden you're a victim. And then, as you can see here in the video, she then proceeds to try to get out of the car while being pregnant. What do you think that you're getting ready to do? And if he lays you down, and you know what I really want to say, if he lays you down, now all of a sudden say her name and oh my God, she was pregnant. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. That is absurd and completely ridiculous. And let me tell you something. I'm gonna end it here because I'm already getting ready to go too far. I don't want to go too far. All right, I'm on the edge right now. I'm saying too much. You hear the guy saying, "Hey, babe, relax. Hey, babe, what are you doing?" That's the woman you chose to have a child with. That's the woman you got pregnant. Listen, I'm gonna pray for you. I know in the comment section they're gonna say, "Hey, you get what you get," but hey, look, bro, because you're gonna need divine intervention. If this is who you got her pregnant, and this is how she acts, putting your life in danger and the danger, and she putting your life in danger and the child's life in danger. For what? To act out in the face of ICE where she could have got both of you smoked, including the child into her belly, and you got shit. Let's move on. We're gonna move on. Okay, because I'm gonna go too far. We're gonna move on. But man, listen, I'm sure you're not gonna get much sympathy in the comment section, bro. But hey man, good luck with that, because only divine intervention can help you from this point moving forward. I can't believe you got a woman like that pregnant. Wow. And all of this for what, right? As I bring things back into focus, all of this for what? To defend people like this? You see this guy right here? This is who she's defending. People like this. Well, who is this? Well, I'll tell you who he is. Look at this here. And of course, obviously, this was in Chicago. Migrant, all right, migrant, knocked woman unconscious, violated her, RAPED, in Northwest Side Alley, prosecutors say. He knocked a woman out unconscious and took her innocence in an alley. That's who these people are defending. And that's who Democrats want to re-release back onto the population once they get into office again. Let's check this article out in closing. A Nicaraguan migrant has been detained after prosecutors accused him of brutally attacking and violating a 54-year-old woman in a Northwest Side alley. Prosecutors said the attack occurred around 3 a.m. on August 31st. The woman was walking in the 2300 block of North Laverne Avenue when Letter Aruz Medina allegedly ran out of Blackhawk Park, grabbed her by her hair, and dragged her screaming across the street into an alley. The article goes on to read, Assistant State's Attorney Michael Percara told Judge Antara Nate Riviera that surveillance video captured Aruz Medina pulling the woman to the ground and forcing her behind a dumpster. Ugh. And I quote, after strangling her, he then grabbed her by the hair with both his hands and repeatedly slammed the back of her head into the concrete, causing her to lose consciousness, Percara stated. This monster right here that the good citizens of Chicago are defending, right? When she regained consciousness, Aruz Medina was on top of her with his private part out. The woman managed to kick him in the groin, but he allegedly threw her down again and assaulted her further. Percara said a passing motorist interrupted the attack, prompting Aruz Medina to flee. And I quote, the victim sought help from the car, but the car drove off. He said, hey, I'm out of here. I did my part. Skirt. Percara continued. She then walked down Fullerton. Let's start that over again. She then walked down Fullerton, still completely naked. That's sad. Seeking help, ultimately coming upon a food truck that was still open. This is what this monster did. Now, I know some of you might be looking at that last sentence and saying, man, I can't believe that the person drove off. You know, why would he do that? Well, you can expect stuff like that in liberal cities and liberal states. Why is that? Because in liberal cities and liberal states, you don't have the right to defend yourself, nor do you have the right to defend others. Not like in a state like Georgia. If I remember correctly, and I'm about 99% sure about this, in Georgia, you have the right to not just protect yourself, but others. In Georgia, if that same situation occurred, the driver would have legally been allowed to pull out his super soaker and do the world a favor. And it would have been all legal in self-defense of that woman. But let me tell you something, man. In a city like Chicago or even Los Angeles, forget pulling out the super soaker. These liberal cities like where I live, they're so ridiculous. If whoever that was got out the vehicle and just hit dude with a swift uppercut, he would have messed around and got arrested for assault. That's how ridiculous things are here. He would have messed around and got arrested. They would have hit him with an assault and battery. That's how ridiculous things are here. So people don't even bother. When the law won't do its part, but yet liberal policies handcuff the citizens from being able to defend themselves, let alone others. Let me tell you something, man. People aren't going out of their way to risk their lives for somebody that's not family at that point. People aren't going out of their way to risk their freedom for someone that's not family. Now, family is different. Close friends different. People go out their way, risk their lives, and risk their freedom. But for somebody that they don't know in a liberal city, where if you do the world a favor, and while he's in the middle of committing a heinous act, now all of a sudden they hit you with murder charges. Hey, look, man, I get it. People can feel how they want to feel about that, but I get it. And I guess he felt like I played my part, or she, whoever that was, and say, hey, skirt, he's gone. I don't know. I gotta go though. You guys can debate about that in the comment section if you want, but whoever that was that skirted off, I'll be honest with you. Hey, like I said, living here in the liberal city, I get it. Because now all of a sudden you hit with charges, when criminals are allowed to have guns, but law-abiding citizens, you have to, if you want to own a gun in Los Angeles and you want to have it in your car, it's completely pointless and useless, because the gun, unless you have a, concealed carry permit, which is borderline impossible to get out here, you have to have that gun completely dismantled, locked in the gun box, and placed in your trunk. What's the point? What's the point? What's the point of having a firearm with you in your car to protect yourself from lunatics like this, if it has to be completely dismantled in a locked box, and that locked box has to be in your trunk? Come on, man. I rest my case. I'm done. I'm finished. I'm just saying, I'm whoever that was, people feel away. Oh, I can't believe you didn't do anything. Trust me when I say I get it. And it's unfortunate, it's very unfortunate, but so goes liberal cities. And with all that being said, that does it for today's news. So I want to thank you guys for joining me today. Please hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. Share this video on your social media platforms. And please make sure you follow me on Telegram at TD Media Group. The link to my Telegram's in the description box below and pinned in the comment section as well. Thank you all for your time. Until the next video, peace, and have a great afternoon and a safe one as well.